You are listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and on YouTube.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the only wrestling talk show here at WHPC. Welcome to Takedown Breakdown. I'm your host, as always, Josh Silverberg. Joining you as always. You can check us out always on YouTube, but of course every Monday night still at 11 p.m. on WHBC, and also check out our YouTube channel. I believe it's Takedown Breakdown Radio, so you can always check that out. Twitter, Facebook, everything like that. We don't have everybody here tonight, but I mean we're pretty close. We got about 75% here, so we're just missing out 25%. I'll start first with Lyle Gillen. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Just finished watching TakeOver. And I'm excited to share my thoughts on the show.
Awesome. And then we got Mr. Scott Nebb back with us. He's got, I see a Taker shirt.
Taker Reigns. WrestleMania.
Lyle's got his Balor Club shirt on. But Scott, how are you? How's it going and everything?
Pretty good. Not bad. Taker was all right. Hey, who ordered the Uber?
I think it was Adam Cole. He was trying to leave.
We'll answer that, Betty.
Yeah, we'll definitely answer that for sure later on. But definitely was a takeover. Had some bright spots in it. Of course, there were some down parts of it. But as we said, right now in this situation everybody's in right now, I think it's tough to put on like the most perfect show you could possibly put on with everything happening, especially without fans and that stuff. But you make the best of what you have. And I got to tell you, the nostalgia of the beginning of the show tonight with the intro, you had Todd Pettingill do his thing with the talking. You had the music, the old music from the 90s with the promos that they used to use. If you go back to old In Your House pay-per-views, that was the promo music that they used and everything like that. And it was crazy because I grew up watching In Your House when I was younger. So for me, it was like a Back to the Future kind of moment, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like going backwards, and it was crazy. Like I just felt like it was like a time warp almost, seeing all that. But I thought that was really cool. Scott, what were your thoughts on that, that whole entrance and the intro thing and everything?
Aesthetically, I thought the show looked amazing. From the opening video packages, they used the classic hype music in the video packages that I remember from back in the day. And the entrance, the stage, everything.
Oh, the set too. Yeah, the set was phenomenal.
It was a great presentation.
Absolutely. Lyle, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought the opening was really, really well done. One thing that WWE does better than any other wrestling company is their production. And they just come off with everything they do so much better. And I think they did a great job.
I think they hit it out of the park. I mean, especially even before all that with the music, they had the NXT logo, and like the old way, and I think they had the old voice saying like with the way the intro used to be before they got into the package. And I was like, oh man, they're really going the whole yards with this tonight. You're even doing it before the package starts. You're doing it that way with go back and watch like a 1996 In Your House, and that's exactly how it was. You had the logo popping onto the couch, and watching it on TV and everything. It was just so cool. Like I said, the nostalgia of it, the stage, the set, seeing Todd Pettingill was awesome. And just even like the whole thing they did, like they had William Regal say like this program is brought to you by, and it would be like a commercial and everything like that. And they were going with the ice cream bars tonight because that was awesome. Because I said that was the commercial they used to play, was with the ice cream bars, and they did it tonight. It was really cool. I thought that was great. I thought, like I said, they had Pettingill do the scene where he did with the merchandise, and he was about to give out a hotline number, and then they said there is no hotline anymore. I thought that was good. And then I wrote on Twitter too. I said Todd really had me for a second, but at this day and age, there's no way in hell they're giving out a free house to anybody in this time. No shot they were giving, because they used to do that back in the day. They used to have a contest, and you actually used to send the address to send your intros into trying to win the house. It was, I forget where on Long Island it was, but it used to go to Long Island. And if you go back and you watch one of the old shows, I forget which town in Long Island it was. But that's
maybe
where all the
Rockville
letters.
Center.
I think it might have been Rockville Center possibly because that I don't know if it was there or if it was Babylon. I don't remember exactly, but it was one of those cities in Long Island. So you're looking back, and I was like, Top Gun goes like, and we're giving away a free. No, we can't do that. Can't give away a free house. And then I would have been like, but it was just cool. It was awesome, and just everything about it was great. And
Back then, it cost a little bit less for a house.
yeah, exactly. But can you imagine if they actually did give away a free house tonight? Vince, no way Vince would ever do that. Vince would try to find out who did it, whose idea it was.
Why am I paying
Yeah, really.
$500,000 for a one-story house?
But even the thing with DX was funny because clearly Shawn Michaels still doesn't know how to type on a computer. After all these years, he still doesn't know how to do it.
The Outlaws, the New Age Outlaws, have both aged very differently.
You mean
That's
Road
just-
Dogg
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
very
I
true.
know.
Dogg
Yeah,
and
they
Billy
have.
Gunn.
Billy looks like he's still in complete shape, and Road Dogg looks like he just let it go and don't give a damn anymore. But it was just funny because back in the day, they used to have the AOL. It was the AOL chat room when you could talk to wrestlers during the show, and that's why it was so funny. They had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Road Dogg trying to figure out the computer because Shawn Michaels back in '96 couldn't figure it out then. And he's supposed to look stupid because he still can't figure out how to type on a computer now, and there's Triple H banging the monitor. So the computer looks like it's from 1994 that they're typing with. I just thought that was funny. And then there's Road Dogg knocking off all the stuff behind him on the shelf. I just thought some stuff was cool, and it was just awesome to see, and it brought back memories. Somebody, like for me that grew up watching that stuff, you know what I mean? And it was just, I hope WWE, I hope other shows, can take this nostalgic stuff, and you could bring it back for future stuff as well. Even when the fans do come back, bring back an In Your House takeover. You know what I mean? Like do something like cool like that. I think it's a
That'd be
great
cool.
idea. I think it's a great idea. WWE used to have 6 of them a year from 95 to 97.
Yeah. They had how many total? 23?
Yeah, something like that. They had them everywhere you couldn't think of in Canada and the U.S.
Yeah, I think there's a place to have these shows once a year. Nostalgia
Absolutely.
show. There's so many legends. How can you not?
Oh, for sure. And the key is they would only be able to have it in Full Sail. I mean, I think it would really only work there if you do the In Your House set kind of, unless you're doing like a smaller arena, because that's how they used to do it back in the day. They never did it in like MSG or anything like that. They didn't do that. They did it in like these 8,000 seat arenas and never had more than, I think the biggest capacity.
Like Bridgeport.
What?
Like the Bridgeport Arena.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the biggest capacity they had was like near 10,000 people. That was like the biggest one they had, and that was in Canada, where they would go there a lot more back in the day. But let's get into the action we had tonight, and we start off with the 6-woman tag team match. You had Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox, and Mia Yim going up against Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Candice LeRae. And I thought the match was okay. I thought it was a nice way to start the show. There were some spots that were I think Tegan Knox continues to really develop. She's gotten my attention completely with her in-ring ability all of a sudden. And I think her rivalry with Dakota Kai helped her mic work as well, because she used to get the interviews backstage after the match was over. And she seems to have really worked on that a lot. Look, Dakota as a heel is really good. I think it suits her perfectly. Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, I mean, I like Mia Yim. This just wasn't her best performance, but she's usually very solid and good.
Not at all.
She's usually very good and very solid, and this wasn't her best performance. Raquel Gonzalez, I have no interest in. Shotzi Blackheart, I hate the character. I think it's dumb. But I was mostly impressed with Tegan Knox in the match. Lyle, your thoughts?
I wasn't crazy about this match at all either. I thought that Mayhem, I know I wrote it on our Twitter feed, she didn't have a great match at all. She looked sloppy. She had a couple botches. I just wasn't crazy about it. And that's usually not like her, so I don't know why. She's usually very solid in the ring. But yeah, overall, I wasn't crazy about the match. And I actually disagree with one thing you said. I actually love Shotzi. I think she's awesome. I think she's very different, and I liked her entrance coming out with a little tiny tank. But I didn't think it was the greatest match of the card. It was average. If I had to give it a letter grade, I would give it a C.
Scott?
I predicted this one wrong. I thought Candace's team would win just because
So did I.
I can't recall any big signature wins that Candace has had on these takeovers. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but nothing major really comes to mind. And with this big storyline she's in with Johnny, I figure that she'd at least her team to get this win in the 6-man tag because she's really one of the bigger female characters on the show. To be taking a loss, I don't think she took the pin. Maybe she did. I don't even really remember. But just to be taking
For this
a
match
loss,
tonight?
these girls, I just thought Candace needs some more wins.
For this match tonight, it was Dakota took the pin tonight. She took the pin, and Tegan got the pin on her. Which I think they're trying to build Tegan, which is fair because she has I think she's improved a lot the last couple of months. Since her rivalry with Dakota Kai was really good. That was like, you know what I mean? So I think she's really developed into. I think it's another asset on their in their division. You know what I mean? It's just another asset for them to use. I don't take this performance. You know, I always find it that if a wrestler has an off match. You know, you could give them like a pass if they have it like once. Like you give them a pass, and I think this is like a Mia Yim kind of pass for her. It just was all off with her. I don't know. I just the Shotzi thing. I don't know the tank. I don't know, like her. If you saw her promo last week that she did her side promo, like introducing herself. I thought it was so corny and so cheesy, like, and I don't know. That's just it's just my take on it with that. But I think I agree with Scott on this one. I think Candace needs a win. The problem with Candace too is, and Scott mentioned it last week. Could she look any more drier than she's been? Like, could she? Like, there's nothing about her that's exciting. It's really just like there's no personality there, and it's just bad.
I feel like there's a lot of characters in NXT that have that right now, that are just stuck in their rut that they have been doing for a while, and they're just dull. And I feel like they need a big change. Cross has been a good change. When he's on it, it's a completely different vibe of the show. It's just right now I feel like they have a lot of dull moments and a lot of.
He's
dull
an attention
characters.
grabber, carrying Cross.
Yeah,
he's their he's their guy.
Yeah, but they have a lot of guys who've been doing the same thing for years. So
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe
I have a few more dull characters on my mind. I'll get to later.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a matter of like Johnny Gargano. What is there left for him to do on there? You know, it's just certain guys that there's just like maybe it's time to move on. Maybe I don't know, but you never know. All right, so let's get to the next match we had, and we had Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I wasn't really excited with this match going into it. I don't think there was enough of a build-up, but it surprised me. I actually wrote before the match. I said, you know, when you look at Damian Priest as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, he was on par with his karate style and everything like that. And he had some really good matches, and he hasn't really had that moment in NXT yet. And I think the other killer too is when he had the match like Dijakovic and Lee. He was always the one that got pinned or something like that, and it kind of sucked because I took the air out of his character, kind of. I thought this was his best performance. I thought Finn Balor did an excellent job. And I thought Priest really, really showed a lot, especially when he took that bump on the stairs. I mean, he went full back first onto those stairs and everything like that. And he took it and he got back up after a few minutes and he was still able to finish it. That's a tough thing to do because when you fall back a couple of feet onto steel steps, it ain't the best feeling in the world. But I felt there was some really good moments in that match where he looked great. Finn, I think, looked really strong as well. They're prepping him, I think, when he can travel again to take the belt from Walter at NXT UK. That's what they're building him for. So I'll start with Scott on this one. What were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I liked punishment at first in ROH. Actually, towards the end of his ROH run, I was starting to lose interest in him because he never really developed like a third dimension to whatever his character was there. And then he came here, and it's been like probably like a year and a half now. Now I'm trying to decipher the difference between him and Baron Corbin. He reminds me of Baron Corbin. He's just a big guy that kind of moves around. He has decent matches with people who are good wrestlers, but doesn't have the personality Corbin does.
Yeah.
And God help us if they ever fought each other.
That'd be awful. Oh, man. That'd be terrible if that happens. But what were your thoughts? You're on the match, though?
I thought it was good. Anything with Balor is usually going to be pretty good. That, like you said, that bump on the stairs was gnarly. He took that flat.
Yeah, he took that really flat. Like he went full back first right onto the stairs. Like if you actually see it, his head when he took it, he actually I think went too far back on the stairs, and his head like bounced back and it hit the mat even a little bit. So I think he might have gone a little too far back. But I thought this was his best performance, and there haven't been many with him. That's for sure. He's just stuck in a rut. I feel. Lyle.
I'm not the biggest Damian Priest fan. I feel like has a very monotone personality. Doesn't show much character. He doesn't really do much, but that draws you into him. And I feel like this match in particular was completely carried by Finn Balor. I don't think it was really much of a Damian Priest match. And I actually you're comparing to him to other guys, and I feel like his look. He's a carbon copy of Chuck Palumbo. I look at him every time I see him. I see Chuck Palumbo.
Chuck Palumbo.
And I'm just like, no.
Deep dive.
God help you for even mentioning that name on here. Yeah.
They look like twins. They could have a storyline from back in the day with them coming out together. He doesn't do much for me.
God, you just comparing the Chuck Palumbo. It's like a slap in the face.
I said his look, not his ring ability.
That's
look.
good. Oh, that makes that. Tell him that when you see him ever, and tell him if that makes him feel any better.
He's the twin of Chuck Palumbo.
God. I'm trying to find who's next. We're going to compare somebody to Sean O'Hara, and then we're going to make them a tag team like they did in WCW. Oh, man. I don't know. I didn't think it was his worst performance. Trust me, he's had worse performances. But like I said, I think the key thing that you got out of this match was Finn gets another win. And again, when TakeOver Dublin happens, that's when he's going to defeat Walter for the NXT UK Championship. That's what this whole thing is building towards. Because on the NXT UK roster, so far Walter has faced 3 of their top guys in Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Joe Coffey. And he's beating all 3 of them. And there's really no other guy that I don't think has like the character to be able to develop into beating Walter. That makes it realistic. So that's why I think Finn Balor is the guy that they built.
I'd be picking Walter in that match.
Well, I would too. I mean, realistically wise, it would be a tough sell.
Storyline too. I don't think Balor's gonna beat Walter for that belt. I think it'll be a really good rub to Walter to come out on top in a feud like that.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. Oh God,
tell me this does not look exactly like Damian Priest. That's Chuck Palumbo. Like, they're twins.
No, trust me.
I haven't seen Chuck Palumbo since he was marrying Billy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we know what Chuck Palumbo looks like. I was a WCW fan growing up. I know what Chuck Palumbo looks like.
I'm sorry. I look at him and I'm like, that's Chuck Palumbo.
Oh my God.
That's not a good thing.
I can only picture him with the red hairband.
Well, the problem was Palumbo had a lot of. Really quickly, not to get off topic, but Palumbo had a lot of. He had a lot to be a future star in the company. The problem was everybody rushed him. They rushed him like they rushed everybody on the WCW roster that jumped to WWE because they didn't get any of the big name guys, so they had to have a build for WCW to something to go up against.
Yeah, because everyone's contracted with Time Warner.
And they were all young guys like Mark Jindrak, Chuck Palumbo, Sean O'Hara. I mean, these are all young kids. Yeah.
Quick shower thought. In this deep, vast sea of wrestling podcasts, all 100,000, you think we're the first one to dedicate a quick segment to Chuck Palumbo?
You're so right. You're spot on. That's why I'm like, I mean, so far we've talked about two things tonight. We've talked about the nostalgia of an in your house, and then we talked about Chuck Palumbo. What a let's bring this episode back to 1997, 1998 at this point. Jeez. Should we title it that after I bring it up on YouTube?
In the description. Yeah.
Flash from the past. Oh man! All right,
The good and the bad.
Yeah, and the ugly. Chuck, and then there's Chuck Palumbo. All right, so we had that. The next match we had, and it was for the North American Championship. It was Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano, and I thought it was good. I thought it could have been done better. I think there were some spots that were missed for sure where they could have utilized the match better with their skill set. I don't know. I just felt like there was something missing. I mean, but look, I think it was the right decision to let Keith Lee retain. Gargano doesn't need the championship. He literally has done everything in NXT and then some. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the main roster soon, personally, because there literally is nothing left for him in NXT to do. He's done the most matches in NXT TakeOver history. He's the only Grand Slam champion in him and Adam Cole are the only two Grand Slam champions in NXT history. Like, there's just nothing left for him. He's had every rivalry you could think of. He's won Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, everything like that. I mean, there's just nothing left for him. And I think to keep building Keith Lee, I think is the right approach to go, and letting him retain and have a future. I'm curious who he feuds with next, but we'll see. Lyle?
I think that's spot on. It was a match that I expected to steal the show, and it was highly underwhelming in my opinion. There was a few spots where I just did not like it all. One of them, I don't know if it was the camera work or what, but Gargano tried to do a spear through the rope, and it just looked really awkward. It was like Keith Lee just like stood there as he came by and he missed him, and it was just didn't look like it was done right. It could have been the camera work, because there aren't hard cam for that. I don't know, but he also did a spot when he tried to do a roll up while on Keith Lee's shoulders, and you could very much tell that because of his size, he struggled to do it. It just didn't look good, didn't come off good at all, and I just felt like that was a pattern for a bunch of matches on this card where they just messed up some spots. And overall, I don't like that ruin a show for me, because it's gonna happen in wrestling. They're gonna have botches. It's gonna happen, and unless it's like god awful, you can't let it ruin the show, because you have to expect it. They're human. But overall, I think this match has had quite a few too many of them, and it looked like they didn't have the best chemistry together. Also, a little slow at a few times. The highlight of the entire match was Keith Lee's ring gear.
Really quick before we get to Scott's take, you're listening to 90.3 WHBC, the voice of NASA Community College, with Lyle Gill and Scott Nebb. I'm Josh Silverberg. We are takedown, breakdown, and also really quick, Scott, before you get to your point, if you want to see botches, please tell me who has followed on Twitter. Mongo Knows Best. Please tell me somebody you guys have followed it. Have you not followed that? You got to follow it. It's the entire complete history of Steve Mongo McMichael in WCW doing botches galore. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I get about 6 or 7 of them every day on Twitter, and I rewatch some of them like 4 or 5 times, and it's hysterical. Like, there was one where he fought Bryan Adams at Road Wild. He completely missed a clothesline. Then he tried to do a DDT, and he botched it completely. And there's, like, Vincent on the outside, or Virgil, and he's like this. It's so – you got to follow it. There's 3 of them. He's made 3 of them, the guy. He's made Mongo – I think Mongo Knows Best, The Life and Times of Sid, and Dancing with William Regal. And they're all awesome. The Sid one is great. Like, when Goldberg burned down his car, he's just screaming, like, Goldberg's name. He's like, Goldberg, what have you done? He's like screaming that for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's the funniest thing. And he's like, what happened to my car? It's like he's like in Sid's voice. He's like nuts. And like 95% of the videos that are on that page, I don't even know what he's saying because I can't understand him. So that's what even makes it even better. And it's like he's got marbles in his mouth. So it's even but if you guys at the like Lance Storm actually came out and actually made a statement about the Twitter profile. Like he's like as funny as
I heard it mentioned
like,
maybe on Conan's show or something.
No, yeah, like he was like as funny as this whole thing is, we have to give at least some props to McMichael because he did play in the NFL for how many years, and he easily could have went to WCW, just wanted to take the paycheck and call it a day. But he actually did try to wrestle in the ring too. But some of it, you just if you look at like I'll send it to you after, it'll get you through, man. It's funny.
How in the heck was he a horseman?
Because he's Steve McMichael. He was an NFL Super Bowl champion.
You know,
us
who like really know wrestling can pick apart and be like, oh, this guy is sloppy, all these botches left and right. But as a kid, if you're looking at WCW and Horseman, he looks the part. He looks like
he did
coming out.
When I was a kid.
So
when I was a kid and I watched Lyle knows this, I was a WCW guy when I was younger. So when I was a kid and I used to watch the Four Horsemen, I remember it was Benoit, Steve McMichael, Ric Flair, and they were going back and forth between Arn Anderson and Dean Malenko. That was essentially the main Four Horsemen at the time, and they flipped it when Arn went down. Malenko was the replacement, and I never knew McMichael was botching every time. Never even crossed my mind. Now I'm 29 years old, and I watched it. I go, holy crap! I thought that was cool. Like that sucked. Like he couldn't even do a DDD. It was priceless. Like it was like, but it's humorous. I find it funny. But Sky, to your point. Sorry, Lyle.
So I'm gonna create a drinking game, and obviously I cannot advocate about doing it during the show. But every time Josh says he was a WCW guy, I'm gonna take a shot.
That's good.
I will be hammered.
Yes. And I will tell you this, every time Lyle says don't interrupt me, I'll drink a beer and I'll be plastered on the floor in 5 minutes. All right. So, shot for shot there if that's where we're going with. No pun intended. So keep that water in your mouth, kid. So where were we? We were talking about what was the match we were talking? Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano. Scott, your thoughts before Lyle almost spilled his water out.
There's such a big size difference. It's like watching a giant bear wrestle a little scout camper. But at times, the security guard kind of got a tranquilizer dart into the bear, so it seemed like the kid had a good grip around his neck. But you just always knew the bear was gonna just demolish this little kid.
But what were your thoughts on the match? He's like a bear and a kid.
It's a big size difference, The guy Keith Lee can move. He's very versatile, but that doesn't mean it's always a good matchup to put it against a guy that's literally half your size and looks like.
It's true. Go watch The one time it did work is go watch Walter versus Will Ospreay. That was one of the very few times where it did work. It did work one of those very few times. Doesn't work very often.
Ospreay makes everything work.
Yeah. But it's like I asked Scott, what's his thoughts on the match? Scott gives me a scout and a bear and a tranquilizer dart.
I wasn't going to give any thoughts that Lyle didn't give. So I was just trying to give a little more abstract look on things.
Oh man, this show is off. It's off balance tonight. It's off balance like me and Yim's skills tonight in the ring. Oh, man.
The match was all right. All right.
Oh, man. Ugh. Where were we? And we still got a lot of time. And we're speeding through this show like NXT sped through the entire night tonight. How awesome was it, by the way, that show ended at 9:15? I loved it. Like
they all should.
Boom, 7 o'clock and then
9:15.
Love it.
Most of them are. Most of them are like 2.5 hours.
I love it. And none of this started at 7, ended at 11:30. I can't do that anymore. Like I don't have. I don't think anybody really has basically the I'm trying to think of the word. Can't think of it now.
The patience to watch a 3-hour show
yeah,
with 90
exactly.
minutes
But
of
I'm trying to think like
commercials.
the concentration level to be able to watch a wrestling match for that long for 3 or 4 hours. Like you just can't do it, and especially if there's no commercials. Like I could dig tonight's NXT because not only was it short, but the commercials were hysterical. They kept doing the ice cream bar commercial. I thought that was so funny. So it worked
It was very
perfectly.
funny.
And
Each one had more character in it.
and it's so funny.
You want one?
I was taught. What'd you say?
I said I do want one.
So do I. I have a
I
friend of
said
mine.
it's
He
nice.
went to the supermarket today, and he quoted me, and he's like, "And where are my ice cream bar? Where are my WWE ice cream bars?" And he took a picture in the freezer, and he went, "Oh, here they are," and he got them, and they were like $4 for a pack of the ice cream bars. So think about it. They get what do you get? 400 packs. That was $1 in ice cream. It's kind of, I guess that's kind of a good deal. It's not the same what it was when we were kids when it was
Nah, they were actual pops.
it was like it was on the stick with the cookie and then like the chocolate on the back, and you had the thing that you look forward to the most was inside the box. It was the card. You got the trading card, but you also want to see who the wrestler was on your ice cream bar too. That was the one thing because it's like if you got a crappy wrestler, you're like, oh man, I want. Like I remember one time I got Sunny when I was little. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck?
Funny.
I got Sunny, but my trading card was Stone Cold. I was like that. I'm like, I wish it was the other way around because I could just throw the card out.
You and every wrestler in the 90s, man. Everyone
Man,
loves
let me tell you something. If it was Sunny today, she'd fit that whole bill on that ice cream bar. But speaking of Sunny,
So hold on,
shut her
hold
mouth
on.
really quick.
Sunny
shut
is
her
a
mouth.
meme and a half right now. If
let's kill
you
Sunny.
have been paying attention to,
Let's
if
kill
you've
the
been
Sunny
paying
talk
attention to
before
her,
we get kicked.
Yeah, what she said is disgusting and completely racist. She's a nasty.
and the fact that she has a OnlyFans and people are
But she
paying
puts on
for
her
that.
OnlyFans is disgusting also.
You know what, Scott? That's somebody you should take a scout and go give them a tranquilizer and go shoot her in the back with the tranquilizer.
It may take 3 or 4.
Oh, that's being generous. I would have said 7 or 8. You're being nice. Because 3 or 4, who knows where they land? So anyway, you know what I mean. But besides the point, wow, now we're getting in depth on ice cream bars tonight. Boy, Justin really missed a great show tonight. Can I tell you something? Shame on him. Shame on him. Look at Scott. Scott's even rubbing his. Scott's like, what the hell are we talking about at this point?
Yeah, we need an hour uncensored off-air show just about Sunny.
Oh, we totally could. After this, I'll give you a 45-minute analysis on her.
We can break down some.
We could break down everything about her.
Some of her classic matches from the last 2 years that she's had.
How about the time Jim Ross called her a you know what on the air live at Survivor Series at the Garden when she showed up and she said, who let this bimbo in on the set? Huh? Who are you?
Now, out of curiosity, and cut me off if I can't say this, but I don't want to know how much. Well, no. I should. This is not the worst thing said in the show so far. I don't want to know who got paid more during that movie she did with Brothers. Her or the guy? They probably had to pay that guy so much money. I don't think there's a guy around in this entire world.
I just want to clear the air here. I haven't said one single bad word on this air. The worst thing I've said is tranquilizer dart to the bimbo. That's the only thing I've said. That's the only bad thing I've said. I have not said anything bad. I haven't. You could go back and watch the tape. Okay? Haven't.
And we are after 11.
All right. So where were we? We were talking about Sunny and her crap career. Oh no. Oh yeah, she's in the WWE Hall of Fame. I forgot.
I don't know why.
You know that thing?
First diva.
Yeah, first diva. She I'll tell you something. She gives the word diva a bad name when you look at her and her career. And I don't want to hear the excuses that she's got a lot of mental issues. Enough of that. Okay? Some of the stuff she says is nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. But I never said a bad word. Selective hearing, Lyle. Selective hearing.
Money from that OnlyFans.
What'd you say?
Makes a lot of money from that OnlyFans. I heard it's like in the six figures.
I thought you honestly
said-
said. I thought you
yeah.
said Lyle was making a lot of money from AEW. That's honestly
No.
what I thought you said.
I wish.
Money.
No, man.
I think
Yeah,
we all wish we made a lot of money from them.
yeah. Wow. What's the next
Lyle's
match that happened
OnlyFans
after?
wouldn't make that much.
What'd you say?
Lyle's OnlyFans wouldn't make that much.
I would make $1. And I would pay that person $20 to subscribe.
I think the parking lot brawl was next, Josh.
That was the next one. Thank you. I was trying to think of the next match. I couldn't think of it. So the next one was the parking lot brawl between Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. And once I found out that was not going to be the main event, I said, once I found out the women's match was the main event, I said, oh, okay. That means Adam Cole is definitely retaining. Because also, if you're going to let Adam Cole lose the championship, it's going to be in a one-on-one clean match. Because his run has been so good at this point, that's only deserving that that's how it should end. And I feel for Dream. I'm guessing he gets called up to the main roster at this point because I don't know what's left. He can't challenge for the championship anymore. He's won the North American Championship anymore. And I don't know. I thought it was a very solid match. I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was entertaining. Dexter Lumis he was good in Impact. And they've kind of I like the character kind of because some of it's humorous, some of it's kind of cool when you look at it in a sense. But I think overall the match was really good. I liked it. I enjoyed the back and forth action. Dream and Cole they're two of the best in the company and in the business. Where if you put those two in a ring together, the match you can guarantee it's going to be a really good match. Like those are two guys you don't have to worry about. That's just the thing. So I felt the match really. I thought it went well. It gelled really good, and they have great chemistry together. Lyle.
I thought it was alright. There were times that I really enjoyed it, and then, I'm not a fan of a lot of outside interference. I hate it, and I understand it's the WWE style of heels to do. It's what in their mind the heel should be doing is having outside interference. But you look at some other heels outside of WWE, they do a great job being heel without having outside interference. So I don't know. I hate it. I think it ruins the quality of matches. I said the same thing when we reviewed WrestleMania. I'm not a big fan of it at all. I hated that part. It distracted me. It took away from the match. I was following online what people were saying about the match, and it was very mixed. I saw a lot of mixed comments. A lot of people saying, "Oh, well, that was okay. That was average." I think people are starting to get worn out from the cinematic style match being shoved in their face at every single pay-per-view now. I think what we have to do is just that could have been a normal match and it could have been insane. I think it would have been better as a match inside the ring in front of the crowd. Well, not the crowd, in front of the talent.
But I just want to answer this quick, and then it's not a knock right there. And I just want to hear Lyle's opinion on this because I know he's an AEW guy. If AEW did a production of this kind of match, you would say would you say the same thing? Like, I think people are sick of it.
No, I don't see a point of it. I don't see a point of it. I feel like you could still do that inside of a ring and do the exact same stuff without having the camera work like that. I had the same type of thought about the Boneyard match. I think it was as cool as it was. You could have done the same thing with a Buried Alive match inside the ring in there. I just don't see the point of you doing it a cinematic style match for that. I think it's over the top, and I think it's trying too hard.
All right, Scott, your thoughts?
I'm not really sick of the cinematic style matches when they're done right. And about the interference thing, in a match like this, I would have been more annoyed if they didn't interfere because you're in a parking lot, no
Exactly.
DQ. You're one of the biggest factions in all of wrestling where these guys aren't going to show up, and especially the fact that they had the Loomis appearance to even things out a bit and throw them in the trunk and drive away. But the little things like that Uber bit wasn't necessary. This is our
I didn't
NXT
get
title.
it. I didn't
This
understand
is
it
our,
at
this
first.
is
I was
our
like
NXT
confused.
title match. Yeah, this is our NXT Championship match. This isn't a little like 20. This isn't a 24/7 championship match or hardcore title or any joke like that. That was that was a little too much over the top.
All right. So the next one we got to, and it was Tommaso Ciampa going up against Karrion Kross. Here's what this did tonight. This is pretty much really quick. I wrote this on Twitter. I want to applaud Tommaso Ciampa for the work he's done the last few months. As a veteran in the business, he has put over Adam Cole. He's put over Johnny Gargano. And then tonight, he took a beat down from Karrion Kross to put him over. And I think people need to realize that a guy like that deserves a lot of praise because let's face it, before Ciampa got hurt, he was one of the faces of that company, and he still is. But now he's become like a veteran leadership. He has, but when he was the champion, Lyle, he was. But that's why he
No,
made that
who
face.
was the face?
Tommaso Ciampa. He was
I'm
one of the
trying to-
faces of
I
NXT.
think I misheard you. I think I misheard you.
Okay. There it is, the selective hearing. There it is, see? But the Tommaso Ciampa thing, in regards to listen, he was on pace to have a great championship run, and unfortunately he had a serious neck injury and had to have surgery. And he's come back, and like I said, he's a veteran in that locker room, but he's also put guys over. And I think that should not go unnoticed. I think that's something that you praise somebody to do. Because think about it like this. He made the match with Adam Cole at TakeOver Portland. He put Cole over in that match. At the end of the Gargano rivalry, he put Gargano over to win it. And then tonight, he makes Karrion Kross look dominant. And to me, this match compares to SummerSlam years ago when it was John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, where John Cena was the face of the company, got whooped in a couple of minutes by Brock Lesnar. They tried to make Brock Lesnar the champion of that and the face of that company. And they figured, you know what? Let's bring this new guy in. Let's make him the face. But how do we put him over so fast? How do we put him over fast and strap a rocket to him? Oh, well, we have him face one of the best wrestlers in the company, one of the faces of NXT, and we have him beat him down in a couple of minutes. And I thought it was utilized really well. This is basically them saying to Karrion Kross, listen, man, Ciampa, Gargano, these guys, they're kind of on the outs now. You're one of the faces that has to take charge here at NXT. We're putting a rocket to you, we're strapping it, and we're going to take you to the moon because that's where it's going to go for him. They paid him all that money and they gave him that contract because they had all the basically they had all the trust in him to be able to do this. And with Scarlett working with him, I mean, look, I think the entrance is arguably the best entrance in wrestling right now. And it just works. He's great. I thought Ciampa looked, Ciampa did his thing tonight. He put him over. Kross looked awesome. He looked like a monster. And I think there's so many big things for Karrion Kross going forward. Scott?
What? I mean, was it as big of a squash as the Cena Brock match? I thought Ciampa got a little offenses, didn't he?
Ciampa. It was, but well, if you look at the two matches, and it was interesting because I was thinking about too. Cena got a couple of moves in, like he got he got his finisher in, and he did like two or three other things. Ciampa got a couple of things in too, but if you mostly look back at the match, Kross dominated. I mean, and I think that was the point because even when Ciampa did have some offense going, it didn't affect Kross. That was really what it's like. Maybe Ciampa got in maybe two or three kicks at one point for momentum, but then it was just a beatdown again. He only took him off his feet, probably not even off his feet. He took him on one knee the whole match. He didn't even get off his feet one time, unless it was I think it was the DDT when he got back in the ring, but then Kross got right back up. But I think that was the whole point of it. It was supposed to be that way.
You gotta think Cross is gonna be the guy to eventually dethrone Adam Cole somehow.
I would. You know what? I'm starting to think after Cole won tonight, because I'm trying to think who else would be Cole on that roster. I mean, maybe Balor. I don't know, and then maybe have Cross beat Balor. I mean, I'm not sure, but I don't know. Lyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it was as much of a squash as Cena Lesnar. That was so much more of a squash than the term squash is meant to be.
It really wasn't, honestly, but go on.
No, the Lesnar Cena match, not this one.
No, I'm saying I
that-
think both matches were similar.
I don't agree. I think
That they both
Ciampa
made
had.
a big star. in the
That's
moment.
exactly what it is. That's the other thing you have to take. They both made their veterans made them big stars. That was what came out
Yes,
of this.
they did. Yes, I 100% agree with that. But I think that Ciampa had more offense than Cena had in that match. But I thought it was okay. I think they could have had a very, very good match together, and I was disappointed. I understand the booking. I don't have a problem with the booking, but I was very disappointed that they couldn't have as good of a match because I love Ciampa, and I couldn't. I wish he could have done what he could have done.
Well, I think they ran it by Ciampa. I think they ran it by him probably, and they probably said, "Do you mind being the guy that puts him over?" And I think the Ciampa, that's probably an honor to think, "Hey, let me get this guy started," because Ciampa was the face of NXT for a while, and he probably said Triple H probably went up to him and said, "Hey, we need a big star to put him over," and Ciampa probably volunteered and said, "Hey, I can do it." You know, I don't think that's something. I think Triple H has too much respect for Ciampa, where he's not just gonna not ask him about something like that first. You know, but we'll see going forward. I think it's a big. I think this is a big. I thought it was a big thing for Cross. He's definitely the future heavyweight champion of that company. I don't know who he's gonna beat. I'm kind of curious. I mean, if it's Cole, then I guess it makes sense at the time. I mean, because you'll go heel versus heel then in that match, but again, there won't be any fans. So I mean, you'll have the roster. It doesn't really mean anything.
So I know you've made the point of how Triple H likes to do the face versus heel rivalries, but what are the faces there to take the belt off of Cole, to then take the belt and put it on the Cross? There's no left. Dream can't compete for it.
Yeah, Balor. You could.
Balor could, but he's like a tweener.
But maybe
but he's still the North American champion.
No,
so
but
we don't know when he's going to lose the belt.
You could take the NA belt off of him and just give it to. I would say if Lee and Cross fought for the World Heavyweight Championship, that would be phenomenal.
And because Balor and Cole, I think, are both tweeners. They're both guys who are over, like as a face, but they act like a heel. They both do the same thing. I don't know. I don't think anyone really left that can take the belt as a face just to put over Cross. I think that the next logical big match for Cole is to face Cross. I don't see anybody else that's there. I know the rumor is now that Cole will, with the rest of the Undisputed Era, go up to the main roster. I don't know how true that is. But I don't know. I think that there's no left to face Cole.
No, I mean that's fair to say for sure. Like I said, I think the only guy that could face him is probably Keith Lee, but Lee has a North American Championship now. And I would love to see Keith Lee as the NXT champion before he goes up to the main roster. I would love to see him as at least just get a mini run. Just that, I think he's earned it. You know, so that match was that, and then you got to the main event. And once I saw this was the main event match, I know I picked Charlotte to win on the show last week. And then once I saw this match got moved to the main event right before the match, I said, EO, I think, is winning. Because clearly they're putting it on the main event. Clearly they're doing a title change. Otherwise, they would just made it in the middle of the show and just done like Cole Velveteen Dream, probably, I would think. But I thought it was a really phenomenal match. I thought the girls gelled well together. Io did that move off the top of the roof. Charlotte with the heel work stuff did really good. I'm trying to figure out what happens with Rhea now because now she's lost to Charlotte and now she's lost to Io. Because it's kind of weird because Charlotte didn't get pinned. She had the move on, but Io pinned Rhea. So either way, Rhea's out. That's really what the conclusion is. I'm trying to figure out what they do with her next. But Io Shirai, I thought it was the right call. I think she's earned it. I think she deserves it. She's worked her butt off the last couple of years in NXT. She is one of the best wrestlers in the world. She shows it all the time in her matches. She's one of the few women that takes the most risks. I mean, you see it when she did it at War Games, when she did the flip off the cage. And then tonight she did the thing off the roof. And she got Rhea. If you look at where her moonsault landed, it landed right on Rhea's face. It didn't even land on her. It landed right on her face. So congratulations to Io Shirai. I thought it's a well-deserved, definitely a well-deserved move for her, and I thought it was the right call. Lyle?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It was a great match. I very much enjoyed it. The women in NXT keep on showing why they are the best women's division in all in professional wrestling. Well, maybe not Impact, but besides Impact, why they have the best division. It was just a great match all around. They gelled well, very good chemistry. I think the best part of the entire match for me was after she won, they did the streamers, and I think that was great. It was a nice touch. I think they should bring back more of that. That's something that a lot of these guys, they grew up their entire career having streamers around them for big moments, and I think it'll make a different touch for them, and it would be really cool.
Especially when you don't have a giant crowd to show you adulation and cheer after you win. To have the excessive streamers, it's all right.
They should have done that with Drew. That's what they should have done with Drew after WrestleMania. They should have done that. Instead of having the Big Show thing come out, they should have done that with Drew. I thought they missed the boat with that personally, but
that Big Show thing was so weird.
It was just so random. It was, yeah. I didn't understand it. But, Drew worked his entire career to get to that point, and there's no crowd there. They didn't even have wrestlers in the audience. I would think the least you could do is at least give him some confetti or something. I mean, just like what Io got, something like that. It should just have been done the right proper way, and it wasn't. It was just shrugged off after he beat Brock, and then they made him face the Big Show. So it was stupid. But anyway, Scott, you were going to say about the match.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely the match of the night by far.
Yes.
I think I picked Io coming into the show. A lot of people were picking Charlotte, or some people I know picked Ripley, but I actually picked Io. I thought she would get the fall over Ripley, so Flair wouldn't be involved in the decision. So it's a way to maybe get Flair maybe away from the NXT picture again. So spotlight can shine on some of the other women in NXT, and it always leaves the door open for a rematch with both Ripley and Io. And Ripley, she was just at the top, as high as you can get in the women's division in WWE, having a big marquee Mania match. And now after a few losses, they just can tell the story of her now coming back up, which I don't think should be a problem. I think she's over.
No, I'm with you. It was it's like you said. It's interesting. She went from the highlight of Survivor Series weekend, breakout 2019, becoming the women's champion, Mania match, to now losing back-to-back big matches. But again, it's like a telling story. You build a character up that way, because it's storytelling, right? It's feel good stories, and we have to. Some people have to prosper from the situations of losing a lot, and I think when you see it, I agree with you on Charlotte, 100%. I think this was a way to maybe get Charlotte away from the NXT brand, but in the future, open her up to more matches at NXT, because she could say, I didn't lose the championship. I didn't lose it. I didn't get pinned or submit. That wasn't me. That was what was it? That was Rhea that lost. So we'll see how they do it going forward for sure. Overall, I thought the takeover was okay. It wasn't great. Definitely not its best one. It kind of stinks when there's. Listen, the NXT fans, like the AEW fans, are just rabid wrestling fans, and they're loud and they're crazy, and it just adds something. When you look back at some of the old NXT TakeOver matches, like Shinsuke Nakamura's debut, Bayley and Banks at TakeOver Brooklyn, the fandom adds a little bit of an element to the storytelling. And I think even with AEW at times, like, we miss that. You know what I mean? It's like, I think, who said it on here? I forget who it was, said that Orange Cassidy is better with a crowd than without a crowd. It's just certain aspects.
Totally.
Yeah, it's just certain aspects of the show. But, I mean, we can't control it, unfortunately. But eventually, in due time, they'll get back to it. But you hope. I mean, look, it had some flashbacks for people that have been wrestling fans forever, that were able to see like the old stuff and and everything like that. Apparently Todd Pettingale is a disc jockey now on a radio station. That's what he's apparently doing now. I read that before. I was like, wow, okay, so at least he didn't have like his mullet wig or whatever. He wasn't going to go that far. At least it wasn't that. Back in when he interviewed the fake Bill Clinton way back when. Yes, I remember. I'm thinking it's the Son of Sonny moment when Sonny sat on his lap, Clinton.
Oh God!
And was like, "Oh, Mr. President." I was like, and then he's like, "You go around here often?"
We got Sonny and Chuck Palumbo both trending tonight. Good job,
That's
guys.
no way. You're so full of it. No way. Really quick, Lyle, finisher of the week. Finishing move.
There's currently a rumor going around that FTR is going to be managed by Jim Cornette. Now, I think that is absolutely crazy, given how much he hates the Elite. However, I gotta say that would be a very, very good and very intriguing match, and I am very interested if they do that. It's a rumor, so take it just as much as that, but I would love to see him be their manager, and I think it would be very interesting.
I only want him to come back if he brings back the tennis racket. If he doesn't bring back the tennis racket, I don't want him back. Then I don't want him back. It doesn't
Okay.
It doesn't
Yeah. It's not
like
the same.
he has to. He has to. He's with the red suit, with the red sport jacket and the tennis racket. Got to bring that back. Scott.
My finisher would be to go check out what was my favorite match of the week, which was the opening tag title match on AEW, Hangman and Omega versus Sabian and Havoc. I thought that was just a fantastic match.
My finisher of the week, and I got to give it up to Keith Lee for his attire that he wore tonight at TakeOver. I thought it was phenomenal. Definitely a statement made for sure when he did that. Like I said, especially it's kind of weird, with everything going on and stuff like that. There have been comments from wrestlers in the WWE that have said some stuff, and it's just added some friction in the locker room with some stuff. And, Keith Lee just tried to put a positive message out there for sure, and nothing, And I think we all are, and I think we all feel what he's feeling for sure. And, we just want there's just so much stuff going on in the world today, and especially in this country, where we just want everything to get right again. We want everything to be back to normal. And as what does Scott always say, we could go back to our stupid wrestling shows.
Be nice. Just be nice to people. Do something nice for someone. Be nice.
Yeah, that's all it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just that's all it is. Just being nice to people. Yeah, don't don't be a Lyle. No, I'm just kidding, Lyle. I was gonna say, don't be a Lyle.
No, don't be a Lyle. No, stay away.
I'm
kidding. In a world of Keith Lees, don't be a Sonny.
And on that note, I'm on that note. We're gonna go find a tranquilizer, and we're gonna take it from there. This is Takedown Breakdown. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. You're listening to 90.3 WHBC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Good night and goodbye.
Bang!
Bye, everyone.